Yes.
All right, the man is in the studio. He is our presidential hopeful, Mr. Ng Kok Song.
Thank you very much. Glenn.
Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us, Mr. Ng. Okay, we just the first question right out there because we just had Adrian Choo talk about career strategies as he does every Thursday, and we were talking about leadership. So, first question for the morning: what makes a great leader?
From my experience,
Yeah, from your experience.
I think there are three critical qualities for leadership. The number one quality is what I call, it's not about you, it's about us. In other words, teamwork. So the leader must not think that what he does is just about himself.
Right.
That is the ego. So he's always got to bear in mind that leadership is a responsibility. All right, it's not an exercise of power. All right, so you're responsible for others. Right? You're responsible for the people who work with you. You're responsible for your clients. And so, in terms of the presidential elections, leadership is about the people of Singapore. So that's the first quality, I think.
Yeah.
The second quality is you must have the will and the determination to lead. People look to you as a leader, so you must set the direction. You must have the will to lead, you know. And then the third quality is what I would call clarity of vision. To be very clear, because when you are leading an army or you're leading an organization, they do not want to see the leader being confused.
Of course, so very clear, yeah.
So clarity of vision. So these are the three qualities.
Wow.
Okay, I like
Looks
that.
like you had that in your back pocket.
Of
you
course.
didn't even know the questions.
I always try to remember those three things.
That's
wherever
amazing.
I am.
And whatever you do.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so we wanted to talk, we were talking a little bit on the Big Show TV about golf. Because Glenn's life, besides the show, is all about
really
golf.
awful,
Yes.
yeah.
So I think like a question that we may ask is, if you become president,
Yes.
will you put an extra 2 holes in the
The
Istana
Istana.
golf course? Because right now there's 7 holes.
We hear there's a 7-hole golf course.
So we're wondering what
Is that
happened
true?
to the other
Is
2
it-
holes.
Is that true?
7 holes is enough to play golf.
Oh, all right.
You can always go round and round.
And then make it 14 and 21.
You can make it
It's
as
not-
many
it's-
as you
it's-
want.
It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing for visitors coming into the Istana to see that the president spends the whole day playing golf.
But golf is such a strategic game.
Strategy.
Yeah, it is good, but in moderation.
Okay.
So
Not a priority.
I myself, I play golf. I love to play golf. But I try to play golf maximum twice a week, 9 holes of golf.
Right.
Okay. All
Okay,
right. Okay.
okay.
And I try to maximize the use of it because I get to see my friends and then I get to exercise.
Yes.
Because I walk the golf course.
Nice.
I don't take the buggy.
Yeah.
You know, so
Glenn's trying to
I
do that
strap
too.
My golf clubs behind me.
On your back, you don't
Oh,
even
you don't have a
trolley them?
I don't want to because
Wow.
because if you can sling the bag behind you, it keeps your back straight.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it helps in your posture.
Oh my goodness.
Very strategic.
And now they have very good golf bags where it's balanced. It's more
Very
balanced.
good.
you know,
Ergonomic.
As opposed to just one side. But you're absolutely right. I think that's the reason why they started at 7 holes. Because back in the day when Mr. Lee Kuan Yew used to play golf,
Yeah.
I think that was part of his exercise routine as well before he started swimming.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
he can walk 7 holes. I mean,
Easily.
that's a reasonable
right,
workout.
yes.
That's about 7,000 steps.
Okay.
6 to 7,000
Wow.
steps. That's pretty good.
It's like 1,000 a hole.
And
Okay.
walking is a very good exercise,
Yes.
you know, and it puts less strain on your legs.
Yes.
And I find that when I'm walking on the golf course, it's an opportunity for you to be in solitude. You know, you can walk the course and actually I do what we call walking meditation.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we've heard you.
Yes,
You
about
meditate
meditation.
quite a
You're
bit.
very
Usually
big on
you should sit
meditation.
down to meditate.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
But you use every opportunity you have.
Absolutely.
So when you're walking or jogging, you know, so use it as an opportunity to be silent.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and to just walk or jog mindfully.
Because
Yeah,
meditation
I
can
love
be
that.
done anywhere, right? I mean, as long
Yes.
as you have a focus.
Right.
That's right.
Right, whether it's your breathing or your footsteps or anything, as long as
Okay,
you're
Mr. Ng,
focused,
let's
right?
continue this conversation on the Big Show TV. We've got a song that you've chosen, actually. You've chosen From a Distance by Bette Midler.
Yes,
Tell
I
us
love
why.
this
Why,
song.
why have you
Why
chosen this song?
Well, if you listen to the lyrics of From a Distance, it is how God sees the world
Wow.
from a distance. So how does, you might say, the creator of the universe, how does he see all of us?
Yeah.
He sees all of us as one. We are all his
As one
children.
moving parts.
He doesn't see divisions. He doesn't see war, you know. So that is how, it's what we call the divine perspective.
Wow.
I love that. I love
So
that.
it's about the unity of people.
People. There's one
And
people.
I
yeah.
chose that because one of the president's role is to unify the people of Singapore.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Nicely done. Nicely
All right,
done.
here's Bette Midler, From a Distance. We are with Mr. Ng Kok Song right here on Kiss 92.
That's a great
Nice.
song.
Yeah, I like the
And a
tie
good-
back to
We've
that.
got we've got two more songs that Mr. Ng has chosen.
we do.
Along the way, we'll play those songs.
So speak a little bit about meditation. I mean, like, what got you into it?
I started to meditate when I was 40 years old.
Okay.
And when you are 40 years old, you enter a period of what we might call the midlife crisis. You know, the midlife crisis, in terms of questioning what is the meaning of life? Why are we here? Why are we here? Are we here just to make a living? You know, or is there a deeper purpose? You know. So when you reach that stage of life, especially when you are reasonably comfortable, you've got a good job, you've got enough money to live on, then you look for the higher goals of life. You know. So that was what happened to me. You know, I want to ask deeper questions, and ultimately, I think if you practice meditation and you go deeper within yourself, you will realize that the purpose of life is really to love and be loved. That is
I think
the
down to our
deepest
core.
experience.
Yeah.
You know, but in order to come to that realization, you got to go deep within yourself. Why? Because when you go deep within yourself, you forget yourself. You know, you have to let go of all your thoughts, your ideas, your desires, your problems. In other words, you switch from being self-centered to other-centered.
Yeah.
And when you are other-centered, that is love.
Right.
You care for others. You think of things in terms of others, not just about yourself, you see. So I found that meditation helped me, you know, at a very crucial stage of my life.
Oh,
Right.
wow. Okay.
We should get you to teach us how to meditate one of these
Yes,
days.
for
as
sure.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd be delighted
speaking
to.
of teaching, you also taught Mr. Lee Kuan Yew
How to
how
meditate.
to meditate, right?
Yes, yes.
I mean, was he at the crossroads as well? Was he seeking something like a midlife crisis? Was he
No,
going
Mr.
through
Lee
that?
shared with me that he wanted to meditate because he was at a very late stage in his life. And he wanted to enter into this stage of his life with as much serenity and clarity as possible. So he says, can you teach me? You know, so I was very delighted to be asked for by Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, you know, because my whole professional life, I was working at the GIC. He was the chairman of the board. I was the chief investment officer. So it was a very professional interaction. But when he asked me to go and sit down and meditate with him, you know, it was as though I was the teacher.
And you were.
Yeah, you were
And he
his
was a
meditation
student.
mentor.
You introduced
Yeah.
meditation to him.
Yeah. You were
And-
leading him.
That was such an incredible experience for me because Mr. Lee was probably my best student.
Wow.
Because I've shared meditation with many people, but he was my best student. So I said, why is Mr. Lee a best student? Number one, because he was serious. A lot of people say, I
He
want to
wanted
learn
it,
meditation. They're interested, but they're not serious. Serious means you must take the time to persevere and to learn, you know. So, for example, when I go and meet Mr. Lee to talk about meditation, he will ask for the discussion to be recorded. And then he would ask his secretary to transcribe the recording so that he can study the notes.
Wow.
And then he will come back with
Very
questions.
serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is really...
He's that kind of a person.
Yeah.
I mean, but what
Yes.
makes a good student is a willing student, right?
Yes.
You know,
And he
someone
was
who
very
wants
humble.
to learn.
He was very humble.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, Mr. Lee? When he wants to
Yes.
learn something, he's very humble.
Serious about
Yeah.
it.
He listens to the teacher, you see.
Yeah.
But the one thing which was very important was Mr. Lee's discipline. So after I taught him on several occasions, I was just wondering, if I'm not here meditating with him, is he doing it on his own? Because as Glenn knows in golf, practice is very important.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Practice is very important.
With everything, really.
So I asked him, I said, Mr. Lee, when I'm not here with you, do you meditate on your own? He says, of course. What's the point of learning
If
you
you're
don't
not
practice?
practicing.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
So I
very
said-
true.
So he says, I try to meditate every day, as you suggested.
Yeah.
So I said, wow. I said, out of every 10 students that I coach meditation, the survival rate is only 20%.
Wow.
Two out of 10.
Yeah.
But I said, Mr. Lee, you are extremely disciplined. And he looked at me and says, Kok Song, if I am not a disciplined man, our country will not be where it is today.
This is
That's
true.
very true.
Absolutely.
This is
yeah,
true.
that's very true.
And I'm sure he went on to guide many other people in meditation as well. And I know Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong meditates as well. And perhaps
okay.
maybe Lee Kuan Yew taught him how to
Taught
do
him
that.
as well.
What
yeah.
happened was, I think Mr. Lee was and this is public knowledge. I'm not saying anything.
Okay, yeah.
If you listen to to Prime Minister's Lee Hsien Loong's eulogy at the funeral of Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, so he spoke about how his father cared for him. So after the 2011 general election, Prime Minister was quite stressed because the result was not what he had hoped for,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So Mr. Lee said, I'm going to ask my son to take up meditation again because I know he's undergoing a lot of stress.
Right.
So I really hope that Prime Minister can return to meditating because at the moment he's undergoing a lot
Stressful
of stress.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Stressful
Yeah. I
times,
saw him in
yeah.
Parliament yesterday.
Sympathize with him.
I saw him in Parliament yesterday. He looks 10 years older.
Oh,
And I just
no.
recently saw him. He looked, much better. But I think the recent events,
Yes.
I'm
I
sure
know.
Yeah.
he's
And I think all
he's been losing a
Singaporeans
lot of sleep
can
over that.
sympathize with him, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's where
Absolutely.
leadership is very difficult
Yeah,
position.
it's hard. It's
Yeah.
a very hard thing.
Because-
Many people take it for granted, but it
Yes.
is very, very, very difficult.
Because when you are the leader is quite often alone.
Yes.
Yes.
Who do you go to?
Because you're leading the way, right? And you can't see ahead of you. You have to make
Yes.
all these decisions
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
with people looking up to you as
Yeah.
well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you know what? Back to the presidential elections. I've got so many questions
Yeah.
right for you. We'll I'll be asking you some of those questions
Yes.
on the
On
radio when
air.
we go back there again. But when will you be able to get the certificate which confirms you as
Eligibility, right?
an eligible presidential candidate? Because I think many people are starting to get really, really impatient already.
Edgy,
We just
yeah.
want this to move on, you know.
I don't know who's up there. So
Yeah.
when
I
does this happen?
I too.
Right? Yeah. Which is why it's great you're on the show today because
So I will give your station, the privilege of knowing first
The
that
exclusive.
I submitted my application.
yeah.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yesterday,
Okay.
I submitted my application,
Okay.
and now I have to wait for the result.
And when? How long will that take?
Yes.
That
you
is
don't know.
for the commission to decide.
Right. Okay.
Right.
okay.
When is nomination day again? Sometime in.
It has not been decided.
Right.
The Prime Minister has got to announce. He has to issue what is called the writ of election, which kickstarts the whole
Election
procedure,
process, right, yeah.
So once the writ of election has been issued, we would know when is nomination day.
Right.
And usually 9 days after nomination day will be the election day.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. Mr. Ong, we're going back on the radio. Okay, stand by. And that's your second song,
Yes,
Green Day.
Green
We'll ask
Day.
you why you chose that song. Okay, here we go. Green Day, Wake Me Up When September ends right here on The Big Show. You tuned in to Kiss 92. Our guest for this morning is presidential hopeful Mr. Ng Kok Song. Once again, good morning, Mr. Ng.
Good morning.
Good morning. We want to
Morning.
find out why did that was your second song on your list of 3 songs. Why did you choose a Green Day song, specifically "Wake Me Up When September Ends"?
2 reasons. I have my daughter, my second daughter. She's now 33. But when I first encountered Green Day, she was about 15 years old.
Okay.
So she persuaded me to take her to the UK, where Green Day was performing
Oh,
Wow.
in Milton Keynes, there's a arena.
Right.
So I took her there, and then I was trapped inside the arena.
Oh no.
I like how you say trapped.
Everybody was jostling, and I was being shoved all over the place. And I had to.
So it was just the 2 of you.
Well, it was 2 of us,
And
but
plus
huge
thousands
plus
of other
thousands
people.
of-
thousands
yeah,
of
yeah,
people, and
yeah.
and there was Green Day, and there was Jimmy Eat World. Do you know Jimmy?
Yes,
Yes, of
Jimmy Eat
course.
World.
Yes, yes.
Love Jimmy Eat World.
So then the song was being played, and I really enjoyed it, and but why did I choose "Wake Me Up"?
When September
September
ends.
ends.
It's very specific, the month
Because
September.
September is the presidential
Yes.
election.
yeah.
So it's
So
as though
poignant.
right now it's as though I'm in a dream.
Yeah.
I'm a dream
Oh,
that
wow.
here I am, Kok Song, standing for the presidential election.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the dream of my life.
Wow.
This is the dream of my life, to be able to come to the people of Singapore to choose me as their president.
I mean, did you
Why
ever
would you
think?
Why would you make a good president, Mr. Ng?
Put him on the spot.
This is your
Because-
speech.
Yes.
Well, no, because I think most important thing is for the president to be authentic, to be himself. All right, not to pretend what you are not. All right, so to be able to connect with the people of Singapore. Most important thing here is to unify the people of Singapore, because the unity of Singaporeans is our social treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We cannot take it for granted, you see. And that is why I chose the song From a Distance, right? So I use the imagery, for example, of how you unify people. And that is to understand that, the different races, the different religions is like the 5 fingers of our hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you look at the top, at the surface, we are all separate, we're all different, but we are all connected.
Yeah.
If one finger is hurt, the whole palm feels the pain.
That is
Yes.
true.
All right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we might be separate and different, but if we go deeper within ourselves,
We are all.
we are all one.
Yeah, I
We are
love
all
that.
one. So I think the unity of Singaporeans, regardless of our differences, political views, we must stand united.
Race, language, or
That is
religion.
very
Yeah.
Yes, I love
So
that.
that's one of the reasons why I feel that it's important for me to do my best to keep our country united, because the president is a symbol of unity.
Absolutely.
So the president must rise above politics.
Yeah.
You see? So that's one reason. Second reason is that our reserves, the financial reserves of Singapore.
Well, you have experience with that.
Yes, I mean, I spent
42 years?
45 years.
45 years, yeah.
So I have a lot of experience, and I help to invest our reserves, have to build up our reserves, and I help to build up the GIC, as our manager of the reserves.
Yep.
So having spent a whole lifetime helping to build up the reserves, I do not want to see the reserves being squandered.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You see? Because the reserves are very important.
Yeah, for sure.
Strategically important for Singapore.
Yeah.
It is our defense in times of war,
Pandemic.
Our
Pandemic,
pandemic,
yes.
yeah.
Held us through the pandemic.
and also our reserves is the reason why our Singapore dollar is so strong.
Yeah.
People have confidence in the Singapore dollar. So for all these reasons, I feel that I have a contribution to make, to safeguard our reserves, to unify the people.
And I think why you're good is because you see the big picture.
Yeah.
Yes.
For someone who doesn't understand and becomes a presidential candidate who does not see the big picture
Just
and understand,
myopic vision, yeah.
then it puts the whole country
jeopardy,
in danger as
Yeah.
well.
No, that's why the we have set quite high criteria for being certified eligible, and rightly so, because the job does require a certain level of financial competence,
Right.
to understand, as you say, the big picture.
Yeah.
Because these things are not that simple.
Right.
You see.
And you've worked with some of the people who are around. I know there's a lot of talk about the president shouldn't should be detached from the government and not be too close to certain members of but I really don't believe that. I believe you can still be friends.
Yeah.
And still have a mind of your own,
Yeah.
and I think
Indeed.
you have an advantage in that area
Yes.
because you know and above people. You know Mr. Taman.
Yes, of course.
You
Yeah.
know Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong.
Yes. Yes.
And so I think with your charisma and you're so approachable, and
Yes.
I've spoken to a few presidents over the years before, and I don't usually compare, but you're very much like like Mr. S.R. Nathan. I was able to talk to him before. He was very approachable, and you're that kind of person,
because
Mr.
Man
Ong.
on the ground,
You'll be
yeah.
that kind
Because
of president.
I was a kampong boy.
Yeah,
Yes, we
you've gone
heard.
through it, and
Yeah.
you've built yourself up
That's
to
right.
to be in this position, so you can understand
Yeah.
people on the ground as well. Because
Yeah.
this must, you said it's like a dream for you, right? And
Yes.
I'm sure that is something that people will look up to you for as well, for sure.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, we've got to play the next song, and this is John Lennon's "Imagine." This is something you've chosen as well.
Such a beautiful
Why did you
song.
choose this song, Mr. Ong?
You see, if you listen to the lyrics, it's very powerful. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. The only sky. What does that mean? No heaven, no hell. I think what Lennon was trying to convey to us is that all our life, we are working for rewards. Heaven. If I'm good, I go to heaven. If I'm bad, I go to hell. So you're driven by reward and punishment. That's not a happy life.
Yeah.
All right? So I think we have to do the best we can in whatever we do. But the reason why we do things is very important. All right? You should put your best effort into it and not say, I will only do it if I get reward.
Yeah.
I will only do it because I'm scared to be punished.
That's incredible. So it's a show of character.
I
Really.
like that.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I love that.
So
That's
when I heard this song when I was young, I said, wow. So people thought this John Lennon is a hippie.
I mean,
Nothing
he
wrong
is
with
as
being-
well.
It was a new way of thinking.
Yes,
Right.
it was. It's an alternative way of
Yes.
thinking. Yeah.
So I was really quite inspired by John Lennon.
Nice.
Amazing songwriting.
Nice.
And great choice once again, Mr. Ung. This is John Lennon, Imagine on Kiss 92.
It really is such a beautiful song, but I've never thought of it in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are like humans driven
By
by
rewards.
reward or punishment. And
Yeah.
I think
That's right.
like having neither of that really asks you who you are
That's
as a
right.
person. Because
Yeah.
if I don't have any of these things, what would I do
Yes.
without without those incentives?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Because I think this is it causes a lot of stress,
Yeah.
even
When
for
you're constantly
children.
chasing.
And
Yeah.
Even for
pressure
children
and
or
pressure,
people who are in executive positions, you know. And it's because a lot of the things you do is driven by the desire for money, the desire for control, the desire for power, you know. And then when those things don't happen, you get frustrated, you become sad.
Or if they do happen, then you keep wanting more and more and more, and
Exactly.
there's no end. That goal keeps
Exactly.
moving, right?
So what I mean to say is that quite often we are all looking for happiness. Everyone in the world is looking for happiness.
Yeah.
But we are looking for happiness in the wrong,
Wrong
places.
places,
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Yeah.
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 So that's where I think, you have to go deep within yourself and, in other words, learn to be,
Yeah.
not to act. Not to act. Because once you act, you're no longer authentic.
Yeah.
You cannot be yourself. And I think a lot of the stresses that our children experience or we ourselves experience is due to the desire to conform
Yeah.
to what people expect of us
Yeah.
or what we would like people to think of us.
Yeah, I think growing up too, especially in Singapore, there's this whole idea of being rewarded, but you don't want to claim the compliments, and yet you still want to be in that position.
Yes,
So much
yes.
so that you end up losing yourself.
That's
And
right.
you know, tied in with your meditation, I think it's such a beautiful thing to be able to find who you are
Yes.
and work on that. Because when you are your authentic self,
Yes.
then you know where your baseline is. You know.
Yes. And I like the young people, especially the teenagers, in this world of social media,
Yeah.
to realize that,
Yeah.
to find their self-worth, not
Yeah.
to have their self-worth tied to what their friends say, how do I
Or what they
appear.
The
do.
likes
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
comments.
Social
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
that's
think- I
so
think
powerful.
It's very important. Yes.
Yeah, it's a tough world that the
It is a
kids
very
live in
tough world we're
right
living
now.
in right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think the whole world would benefit from meditating a little bit more and seeing everything in life as not being rewarded or punished, but
Yes.
rather who we are as a baseline. Because I feel like with all these distractions as well, you know, your
Yes.
phone, social media, texting, and communication, like we over communicate at this point sometimes. I
right.
feel.
And overshare.
And overshare.
Overshare.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be shared. What do you have for lunch? What do you have for dinner? What did your child do? You know, everything is
Yes,
online.
Yes.
now.
yes.
We're running out of time,
Yeah.
so we've got this one song,
Okay.
and then we'll have to wrap and go to the news. So if you've got any other questions, you better ask Mr. Ng right
Yeah.
now.
It's been such a pleasure having you on the show.
Well, I really
I think
enjoy-
I'd like to
Can
ask-
you invite me again?
Yes,
Of course.
absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely,
please.
absolutely.
Once now and once when you become president.
Yeah,
How about that?
Oh, great.
First show.
So,
First show when you
Mr.
become
Ng,
president.
I mean, as president, you will be offering people a vision, an aspiration to be an inspiration. But who inspires you, or who inspired you when you were growing up?
People of my generation, there's no greater inspiration than the founding father of Singapore, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew.
Yeah.
Because of, we talk about leadership, all right? So the three qualities of leadership, this self-sacrificing. It's not about himself. It's about Singapore. He lived his life for Singapore, all right? And then the will to lead. You can see his forcefulness.
Yes.
And then finally
His
his
clarity.
clarity of vision. He had a vision of where he wants to take Singapore.
Yeah.
So here we are, we have to try to realize that vision that Mr. Lee has for Singapore. So he is my inspiration because he make all of us proud to be Singaporeans.
Okay, one
Okay,
second, Mr. Ng. Hold on. Hold that
We'll
thought.
close on air.
That was beautiful.
Leonard Cohen with Anthem. Very quickly, Mr. Ng, because we've got a few other questions for you. Why did you choose this song as well?
There's a particular part of the song which I love very much. And it goes like, ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light comes in.
Wow.
No, why is that important?
I don't think I've listened to that
It's
song
a-
close enough.
Clearly
Wow.
not. Clearly not.
Because it's about persevering and not wanting to be perfect. Do the best you can. All right? So he says, ring the bells that still can ring. As long as the bell can ring, ring it.
Yeah.
Forget your perfect offering. So you say, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough.
It's okay.
But there's no such thing as perfect,
No.
right?
So there's a virus of perfectionism in life.
Yes.
You say, I won't do it unless I'm
virus.
perfect.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Right.
Virus of perfection.
I
What
love
a
that.
line.
So that is the danger. Then he says, there's a crack in everything. All of us have flaws.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We are all wounded.
Yeah.
But that's how the light comes in.
yeah.
I
In other
love
words, that's how we are healed.
Yeah.
You see?
And sometimes the best parts of us can only come out once we've gone through a tribulation,
crisis.
right? Yeah,
Through a crisis.
All right, Mr. Ng, I've got one last question for you, and then we've got to let you go. So what's the first thing you're going to do if you become president of the Republic of Singapore?
Come back to
Kiss 92.
92.
Nice.
Correct answer. Correct answer.
Open
To say
invitation.
thank you to the people of Singapore.
Open invitation.
I don't know whether we have time to show everyone that photo of Mr. Ng playing foosball just before the interview.
There you go.
You gotta go to our Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah,
That's
please-
Kiss 92
before.
FM.
Please tell us, did you win?
The 1-1.
1-1.
Oh, pretty good.
Oh,
Love
wow.
it.
Nice.
And our GM is a pretty good football player as well. Wow, I say rematch. So next time you come back on Kiss 92, you have a rematch with our general manager as
Absolutely.
well.
Very
Okay.
all-rounded.
Look forward to that.
All right. We wish you all the very best, Mr. Ng. Thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you.
time to
Thank
come
you.
down to the Kiss 92 studio today.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Angel. Thank you, Daphne.
Oh, thank you for
very much.
inspiring us
Yes.
as well.
Right, and it's a deal, okay? Come back on
Come
Kiss
back, we'll
92.
see you.
We are
Yeah?
the
I look
first.
forward to that.
Okay.
you. Thank
We've been
you.
speaking to presidential hopeful Mr. Ng Kok Song right here on The Big Show.
Wake up.
Glenn, Angel, and the